All right, so we got the game going along, and hopefully yours is also looking good. And let's make our screens. That's what we're gonna do. So, over here, we're gonna go into the stage, the backdrops, whatever. This thing in the bottom right, and then once again, you go up here to where it says backdrops. So, here are the four backdrops we have: start, easy, hard, win. So. Nothing to do with the start one. For the easy and the hard, we are going to make a maze. Now, what I'm going to start with is kind of a backdrop color, I guess you could say. So you can choose really anything. I'm going to do something, I don't know. Let's do a light blue. How about that? So I'm going to choose that, and here's what I found works best is then use a rectangle. And I'm going to make the rectangle bigger than what you see here so that it basically covers everything. And I just click and drag and just make it really big. And it basically, as you can see, covers up the entire background there. All right, so that is good. And you can do the exact same thing with the other one. I'm just going to kind of do one at a time anyway, but... there you go. Just because that way I know I'm using the exact same color, which it's not a big deal. You do want to use the same colors for the walls. That will be a big deal. So we're going to make some walls. So to make some walls, we're going to use the line tool. And this is now the color is actually going to be the outline. Now I am going to boost this up to about 15. That's how thick the line will be. You can see how thick they are. You can make it thicker, thinner. You probably don't want to make it too thin. But anyway, I'm going to boost it to 15. And I'm going to click on this to choose a color. Now, I know these start with very dark. I always take the saturation and move it over, and the brightness. And that way you can choose a lot of different colors. And I don't know. I don't know if I kind of have a Yoda thing. I could go black anyway, but I'm not going to. I'll do like a red. I like it nice and red there. So I'll use that color, and I'm going to want to basically use that for the whole thing. So now you can do anything. You're setting up a maze. So I'm going to have Yoda start in the top left corner up here. And so I'm just going to start making some walls. So you click and drag. And I'm going to make this one somewhat simple, but anyway, you click and drag, and you can select them if you don't like what you did, and you could make it a little bit smaller. It gets kind of weird there. I know it's like shoots in and out at times, so you can change them. But anyway, do that, and I'll tell you what, if you want to do other things, you could do this. You could even throw in, I don't know, a circle for them to avoid. And yeah, you could even fill in the circle. It doesn't really matter what you fill it in with as far as colors and such, because it's more of the outside that we're going to worry about later on. But then to go back to the line, you want to make sure you're using the line color. In fact, if you lose this color, let's say accidentally I lost and all of a sudden it's blue and I'm like, I need that red color because you're going to have to be looking for that later on. Then what you can do is choose the color again, and there's this little eyedropper, and I can take that eyedropper and go find the exact red right there so that I once again am using the right color. Alright, so basically, you're going to go through. If you want to use other things, you can, but you're going to set up a maze, and you do want to think about a starting and an ending. In fact, we can even do this. We can have a sprite show up at the ending. Remember, I had the apple in mind, but let's actually choose a sprite for your ending here. Alright, so since I have Yoda, I'm going to use a Mandalorian, and I'm going to show you another trick. So, let's say I tried to do a PNG, but let's say I want to use this one. This is not a PNG, as you can tell the white background here. But here's a trick. I'm going to save it again. Whoops, actually, I'm going to save this one. Save image as. And again, it'll save, and as long it says it's a PNG, and it might be a PNG, but it still has a white background, so that's the problem. Now, I'm going to open up a new page here called remove.bg. Remove.bg as in background. Okay, now, very cool site and real easy to use. So I'm going to say upload image, and I'm going to find my image, and I'm going to open it. And it is going to remove the background. How cool is that? So it's kind of in the process. It removes the background. Now I'm going to download. Now this one is going to be a PNG, so the background is gone. It's a great thing to add for something like this. So I go back to this. It's already been downloaded, and I'm going to add a sprite. I'm going to upload the sprite. And so you got to make sure you use the right one. It's going to be the more recent one, and it does kind of say it in here, remove BG. It's in the file name. Well, if you use the wrong one, then change it to the right one. And I'm going to get this Mandalorian here. So here we go. And obviously it's too big, so let's make it smaller. And I'm going to go for like 40% at first. So that's a pretty good size. And I'm going to be changing Yoda's size there too. So, but right now that's good. So I'm going to put the Mandalorian there. Now, just because I just put it in, I'm going to also do some coding for it. So when flag is clicked, I am going to have him, well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to say when flag is clicked, I don't want him showing up, right? So I'm going to say hide. Then I don't know if I'm going to have him here for the other maze as well. So here's what I'm going to do. Remember, to get the maze started, well, there was a broadcast, but actually, here's what we can do. When backdrop switches to easy, remember I'm dealing with easy, I'm going to want him right there for the easy. So I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to put in my go to XY. Okay, that is where I want him. That's where he's going to be. And I also want him to actually show up, so now I'm going to put in the show. All right, so he will be there. It'll show up when the background changes to easy. That's perfect. So now I have kind of a goal for little baby Yoda to do. So let's go back to that stage I was working on, that backdrop. So backdrop, the easy one. And now I would continue adding walls and everything. And let me jump to that. All right, so let's show you what I have. Here's my easy, and I'm going to have Baby Yoda start up here in the top left, and then he's going to be going down to the bottom right to get to the Mandalorian. In the next one, it is harder, and I'm going to have Baby Yoda start in the top right and have him go down to the bottom left to find the Mandalorian for that one. In fact, let me show you how we're going to do that, because you're going to need to do this too. So I'm going to go back to the Mandalorian and the code, and I already have it set up for the easy. I want to set it up for the hard. So I'm going to get another event and say when backdrop switches, whoops, a little too big there. When backdrop switches to hard, then I want it to go to a different place. So I'm going to take the Mandalorian here and I'm going to drag him over there. And you know what? It's okay that it's overlapping. I could make him smaller, but I'm not going to worry about that at this point. And I'm going to leave him there. And now I'm going to say go to XY, just like the other one. Go to XY, and I'm going to have him show as well. This way he will show up in the right place when that backdrop switches to the hard one. So this is the hard one there. So what you need to do right now is make your backdrops. So again, I'm clicking on backdrops, going to backdrops here. And so mainly the easy one, it doesn't have to be that easy, because we're going to make it so it's kind of easy anyway, that when they run into the walls, they don't like have to go back to the beginning or anything. Hard doesn't have to be that hard, because if you make it too hard, it will be very, very difficult. And then for my win screen, whatever you want. This is what I put. So this is fine. So set everything up, do everything I've done so far, and we should be ready for the next part.